Hello everyone, welcome back to DCS and welcome to a new DCS mod. Today we are looking at the Rockwell North American OV-10 Bronco mod, a free mod that I've honestly been sleeping on. It's been available for a little bit, so some of you guys might have already seen this, but it's a first time for me and I wanted to introduce it to you guys on the channel. Very versatile aircraft. First saw service, I think, in the 1960s. Late 60s were the first deliveries. And it saw service with the U.S. through to the 1990s. So a decent lifespan. There are a few aircraft still operational, I believe, from other foreign air forces, but it's long since been retired from the U.S. Air Force. I was actually fortunate enough to see a Bronco at the U.S. Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. I've got a very grainy photograph of it here. You can literally count the grains in that photo. That is before I knew how to take any photos. That was like a high school trip for me. So, nonetheless, let's go ahead, look at some of the textures, get the aircraft up in the air. We'll do a couple gun runs, and then maybe see how it does against a similarly designed weapons truck ground attack aircraft that may or may not kind of be the definitive. It's the A-10. We're going against the A-10 in a guns fight, but that's to come. Let's get started with textures. Alrighty, taking a look at the textures, I'm going to go ahead and pause my head tracking here, and we'll just go with the old mouse. I'm actually relatively very blown away with the textures on this aircraft, especially considering it's a freeware aircraft. There's some really nice attention to detail on the outside of the airplane. You know, it's not quite, I almost said Milviz, not quite like heat blur level, but I mean, I'd call the textures good. I think they're good. Adequate is probably the word that comes to mind. Coming out to the wingtip here. A little bit of a discrepancy with the nav light, nav strobe combo there, but it's not a huge deal. This angle here, actually I'm going to go to the other side of the airplane. I'll go over here, and we'll slow down, and we will come right into here and stop. Right there. And I actually have, if I go back to my TV screen here, and I zoometh out. DCS is losing its mind, but there is a photo of the landing gear door. Okay, I'm having a bit of an aneurysm here. So what's going on right now is DCS is currently tracking my scroll wheel, and as DCS tracks my scroll wheel, my mouse is off on the left screen, which is what I have the Bronco view that we're looking at set to. But all in all, I mean, I think it's pretty good. It looks like there's a little bit of heat shielding missing on the area right behind the turboprop, but what they did do is they modeled some nice exhaust blast there, and I don't know a whole lot about the Broncos. Maybe some of the earlier ones did not come with that heat shielding, and that was a later addition from like an 80 or something, I don't know. But I think it's a good airplane, nonetheless. I'm not going to spend as much time on textures as I do in Flight Sim. But I think it's good. Let's hop in the cockpit, run through a startup, and then we'll get airborne, and we'll blow some stuff up. Alright, and before we jump into the actual cockpit and startup, let's take a look at Armament. This is our current library. There's a pretty healthy selection, all the way from the full-on Navy Sharkmouth attack that we're using today, all the way up to the Cal Fire one, which is taking its sweet time loading in, but you can fly as a civilian Bronco should you so choose. But we are, again, going to be using our aggressive Navy livery. Station number, I guess we'll go left to right. So you've got on the outboard stations 2 times AIM 9, I think these are Ps, yeah. Old, very legacy, almost first edition heat-seeking IR missiles. Basically just used in a defensive manner. Then you have the options for bombs and rockets on your outboard stations. You can have a 750-pound Mark 117, which looks hilarious. Not to be outdone by the 1,000-pound Mark 83, which looks even funnier. And then a very kind of normalish looking Mark 83, and then you can select the Snake Eye variant of that. And then rockets, it's a similar thing. You can have gigantic LU-10 pods with 4 times rockets. I think these are, high explosive frags. And then you can switch to... Are these the same options? Yeah, they're both Zunis. 4 times 10R. I'm not sure the difference between the 10 and the 10R pod. Then you can switch to the Lao-3, which is your high-capacity pod, with a huge assortment of different rockets, everything from high-explosive, white phosphorus, high-explosive anti-tank practice rounds of 2 different types. So I guess Mark 61s, and then I don't know what WTU-1 is, but you have those. And then finally a Mark 260 pod with Mark 5 rockets that are high-explosive anti-tank. And those options repeat for the outer 2 stations across the board. So if you wanted to have, let's do bombs on the outside, we'll do Mark 82s. Actually, no, we'll do rockets on the outside. And then we'll set some Mark 82 Snake Eyes. So, and then in the center we have the options for the same bomb assortment we had before, or a centerline fuel tank. So not quite a heavy carrier, but a very capable light ground attack aircraft. This could definitely, do some serious damage to a small column of infantry or some armor. But we're going to go ahead and clean up our airplane and leave it be clean. Then we've got our final 2 pods here. Obviously the one here is smoke. I do have that enabled. We'll take a look at the smoke system later on. And then finally, if I spin around to the back of the airplane, this little hatch here can be removed, and you can add a paratrooper to the airplane. I don't know what one paratrooper is going to do. Maybe he's like SF or something. He's just really good at his job, but we're going to leave him behind for today. Let's go ahead and hop in the Bronco and kill some of those static targets I have over there. Back in just a bit. Okay, and following our little look around the armament, let's look at a quick sweep of the cockpit. Nothing too special to write home about. Everything looks to be relatively correct as far as a layout goes. There might be some discrepancies, but I do not know the Bronco cockpit well. It's a partially clickable cockpit, which means stuff like your master arm or your weapon stations, that sort of stuff, you can select, your... Oh, why are we so laggy? Your flaps you can select. But then other stuff's like down here, your fuel shutoffs. Can't do anything with those. Basically anything in a lot of the side panels is not going to work, but that's okay. It's a free airplane, so we're not going to complain. One thing that I have noticed about this current version, and this is version 1.0, it's very, very early in its development, but I'm sitting on the ground with no power. There's my battery switch in the off condition down there. Wait, nope. There's my, come on, there you go. Okay, there's my, nope, you're doing, track IR, can you work with me? Anyway, there's my battery switch in the off position. My master arm is off, and if I pull my cannon trigger, I can just let weapons off the rail as I please. So, maybe that'll come in version 1.0.0.1 or something. But nonetheless, let's go through a startup here. We're going to go ahead and turn on our master battery, and then we're going to switch on the anti-collision and nav lights. We'll set those to flash. Guess we'll just do a quick walk around of the lighting outside as well. It's nothing too spectacular. It's not bad, but you know, you're not going to have anything too spectacular. I do like the rotating beacon effect on the ground. That's very nice. Tail lighting definitely could use some work. The beacon looks good, though. So, master battery's on. We're then going to go ahead and set our inverter to number 1. We're going to set our left engine ignition to automatic. Just close that switch. Make sure that our prop levers are in the off condition, which they are. And we're going to go ahead and set our left engine to run and then up to start, and then it'll hold there. We're then going to come over here to our left engine gauge and wait till about 20% before we throw in fuel. That's close enough there, so we'll throw in fuel. Keep monitoring our, I don't even know what did they want to call this ITT? A temperature gauge. Well, it's the temperature gauge. I'm not sure what nomenclature for temperature they're using on the Bronco. Then once we're at 60%, we'll cut off our starter. Starter off, generator on, and then we're going to repeat the process for our left engine. There's 20%. Fuel coming on. Well, that's going. It's a pretty non-eventful startup. Turn on our gun sight. And there's 60%. Starter off. Generator on. And we're going to advance our prop condition levers to flight. There's our little gun reticle now on. There are options for console and instrument lighting. Don't think we'll need those today, though. It's a pretty bright day, bright time out right now. And then we should be good to taxi. So we're going to have lights to steady and landing light on. And then we're good to taxi. There's no park brake that I know of in this module. And the way that you steer the aircraft is not through your rudder, but you use differential braking, and it is about as fun as taxiing any airplane with differential braking. So let's get it over with here. Set our flaps to take off. I definitely struggle with the world of differential braking, but we'll make do. Pretty calm winds, it looks like, going off of that wind side, so we'll make a left-hand turn. This aircraft has a very good, very short takeoff roll, as you can imagine. Definitely dig those strakes for the speed brakes to kill lift on the lift that you're trying to. And I will say, so I've never heard a Bronco actually fly before, but the soundscape for this aircraft is convincing enough for me. I'm gonna, just for fun, set our guns ready, leave master arm off, even though, as we discovered, we can blast away on the ground. And we get lined up here, power coming up. Watch our gauges. Takeoff power is set. We're actually going to roll and take off now. Alright, here coming up, flaps coming up. And we'll roll our torque back into the green arc. And that is a takeoff done in the Bronco. Shut off our landing light. Get turned around here and strafe some bad guys. like I mentioned before, I've got a couple static targets just over there at the edge of the field. Various targets completely unarmed, soft stuff, light armored wheel vehicles, and then I've got a tank or two down there as well. So we'll see how the Bronco's cannon holds up against our array of admittedly tight, kind of tightly close-packed targets. Everyone, guns, guns, guns. No countermeasures in this aircraft, so you do kind of have to know what you're up against, because an oh-shoot moment is just that. It's oh-shoot and you do your best to survive. I forgot to turn on the master arm. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, now the guns work. Alright, same attack pattern as before. We'll gain some altitude, then dive in on them. There is a ranging option for the sight. I'm garbage at manual ranging, so I'm just gonna look where my tracers fall and go from there. So that's a transport truck down. While we're outbound on our next pass here, I'll show you some of the smoke from the outside. Left engine only for the smoke system. It's about as good as any smoke system that you'll see in DCS. As far as maneuverability goes, it's an extremely responsive aircraft to inputs. Get the rest of our gun ammo unloaded here, and then we'll take a look at the flight characteristics. If I remember correctly, this does have an enhanced flight model, so it's going to be a little bit different than your generic Flaming Cliffs aircraft. Guns, guns, guns. The devastation of the OV-10 Bronco. Again, not doing a realistic attack approach here. Trying to mix and match both the gun's capability as well as the flight handling of the aircraft. We'll go in for one more pass, then we'll take a look at the aircraft on the edge and how it handles pilot-induced error. Let's hit that billboard. Guns, guns, guns. All of those went over. All of those went over. Okay, billboard's impenetrable. Alright, we'll gain a little bit of altitude here and take a look at the Bronco under some high G and stalling conditions. Back with that in just a little bit. Alrighty, and we're rounding out at about 10,000 feet right now. We're going to first test the Bronco in the clean configuration that we have here with high G loading. We're basically going to overload the airplane. There's no SAS or anything stopping us from overextending our control surfaces, so that's exactly what we're going to do. level off here. We are crossing 170 knots now. We're going to do a sharpish left-hand turn in 3, 2, 1. And hard pull on the stick. Big shutter, big shutter, big shutter, big shutter. And you can see now we're in a flat spin. Graveyard stall almost. Dump the nose over. Regain some of our airspeed. And pull out of it. Keep our power in here. Try and gain some of that altitude back. We'll come down to 100 knots at a climb rate of 4,000 feet per minute. And then we're going to do a straight nose stall. So we're going to keep our power in, and we're just going to pitch the nose straight up. So there is 10.5 now. So let's pitch our nose into the vertical. And we'll start with a not over 90 stall. Clean configuration. Aircraft shuttering heavily. Shuttering very heavily. I'm countering with the rudder. Put all the right rudder in right now. Aircraft doesn't care. We're backing and over. Let it settle out. Gain some airspeed. Slowly pull out of it. And we'll follow it right up with a over 90 stall. So we're going over 90 degrees of vertical climb. And the airplane's just dipping back towards the ground. Alright. Now let's get a little bit more extreme. We're going to do that same over 90, but I'm going to throw in a bunch of wrong rudder and wrong aileron to simulate a pilot-induced error. So here we go. And there's the stall. Nose just wants to come back. Even with the wrong inputs in. Very docile airplane. Alright, and then we will, for our final stall, idle one engine, leave the other one in full power, and kick the rudder over in the direction of our thrusting engine. So, idle on the right throttle, full power on the left, all the way to the right on the rudder. There's a stall for you, holy smokes. Alright, let's recover here. If we can. Get that spin rate arrested. Bring the aircraft out of the spin. Just like so. And just to demonstrate that you can do that successfully a lot quicker than I did, we're going to repeat one last time. Alright, right engine to idle. Hard over right rudder. So here we are, spins established. Let's get out of it. So, you can do it a lot faster than I did, but it was just kind of cool to demo. Anyway, let's do some ACM versus an A-10, and then there's a YouTube video with the Bronco that comes to mind that I want to recreate, and I want to see if I can have a better outcome than the real-world pilot did. We'll be back with that in just a second. Ooh, I lied. Let's do a landing. What am I doing here? Let's do a landing. Wouldn't make sense to not do one. Alright, flaps set 1. Gear coming down. Landing lights on. Keep that airspeed coming down. Flaps set 2. For non-existent safety, we will go master arm off and disarm our guns. There's the field. Not a good approach path, but it's nothing the Bronco can't handle. Idle power, props to full. Seems like we got a pretty good crosswind. So we'll set down real rough like. Nice effects on the gear there, as we've still got some aerodynamic loading on the ailerons. We'll wheel brake it in as we start losing our aerodynamic authority over the rudders and come to a nice, gentle stop. The OV-10 Bronco. Let's go dogfight. Alright, you already know what it is. Fight's on with a clean A10C. I've given it the best options. Well, let me do the intro. Anyway, that's a nice damage model. I lost my left wing. I'm not dead somehow. Go ahead and eject. I'm still in the airplane? I'm still in the airplane? Okay, well. Let's run that again. Alright, round 2. No horsing around. Let's kill an A10. Gun sights up. Anyway, like I was saying before I was brutally murdered, I've got the A10 in a totally clean configuration, so he's got the best chance possible for fighting with us here. But yeah, we're gonna outturn him all day long. You can't outturn the Bronco. Will our rounds actually make a difference to him? Oh, he crashed. Did I okay, hold on. Hold on here. Let's go back. Did I kill him? No, he just crashed. Okay, fine, cool. Final round. You know, it's 1-all. Next one to take it wins. A10 versus the Bronco, round 3, fight. It's my kind of garbage tier Mortal Kombat impression. I hit him. Hee. Alright, fight's on. Yeah, he's never gonna outturn me. If he was smart, he would use speed to his advantage, or just rely on the fact that I'm a moron and almost lost visual of him. But yeah, so there he goes, using speed to his advantage. Is he gonna crash into the water? Dude, what is he doing? Alright, well, the A-10 pilot's an idiot. Let's move on. Let's move on to my next situation. There's a YouTube video floating out around there. I'm not going to put it in this because, one, it would take a little bit to play, and then, two, I don't want to get it, this video taken down because of it. But of a OV-10 Bronco that got caught in a evasive dogfight, basically against an F-16, and it obviously lost. So we're going to put ourselves in that situation, and we're going to see how it goes. Wish me luck. Okay, here is the situation. We are in our Bronco. We're in our Bronco. Exact same location and configuration as before. And yeah, you can kind of see him back there, is a F-16. Where'd you go? Come back. There you are. An F-16. He gonna try to shoot us, and we're gonna try to live. So let's commence living. Same armament as before. It's a guns only fight. I don't remember. I'm fairly certain the Bronco in that video, it was a guns only fight, because I remember the rear section of the empennage being on fire, like the tail area up here. But I don't know. Let's see what we can do. Unpause. Flip. Okay, take some hits. Looks like nothing major. I've lost him. There he is. He's now popping flares. Lost him again. Boy, do I love the F5 key. Lost visual again. He's just sailing. Not really going to be able to do anything in terms of climbing. He's coming in for a gun run. Jinking, jinking, jinking. So we're basically going to have to wait for him to come in for a gun run. And then as he's passing us, blast him. It's going to be our only possible fail-safe here. Because we can obviously outturn him all day, but we're not going to be able to really run anywhere. Now, you add missiles and that sort of stuff to the mix, and it's going to be a different story. Actually, it really kind of wouldn't, because if the F-16 broke off to use his speed to gain altitude or something on us, we could Fox 2 on him. And likewise, if we failed to Fox 2 on him successfully, then he would Fox 2 on us. Let's go ahead and reverse this here. We're right on the deck. Right on the deck. Crashing. Dying. That was my fault. Let's run that again. Right, round 2. Bronco versus F-16. Yeah, good luck, sunshine, with that shot. Alright, so we're already off to a better start here. No bullets on us. No dice. He's too far out. So this is essentially just going to boil down to who runs out of gas first, I'm guessing. Which in our case is going to be the F-16. Because like a dummy, he jettisoned his fuel tank. And we have, relatively speaking, fuel-efficient turboprops. Look at him, he's just loitering up there, the Falcon, waiting to swoop in and cause undue harm to our poor little Bronco. I think he's in burner? He is in burner. What an idiot. Is he supersonic? No, but he's doing frickin' 400 knots. We're sitting down here at 125. She's burning a heck of a lot more fuel than we are. Let's make this interesting, break out of it, come back in on him. He's not going to be able to close that gap, yeah. Just too big of an airplane. Okay, here's our chance. Oh, nice. Keep our turn rate, keep our turn rate, keep our turn rate. He's coming back in again for another pass. No. Not a chance. Make sure just actually, I obviously heard the guns firing there, but I didn't see tracers. Oh, damn it. We're okay. No, we're not. I've lost aerodynamic authority, and it's not due to low airspeed. Alright, well, rip. Okay, shoot up our left wing. We got bullet holes in the canopy. Engines still seem to be running good. It's coming around. No chance. Too many G's on. Way too many G's on. We're not gonna do any. Oh shit. All right. Well, so the F-16 wins. That's Bronco. Thanks for checking it out with me. I don't know. I died. I didn't know what I was expecting. That's what happened in the real world outcome. So. Go figure. We'll watch this victorious F-16 fly into the distance. Thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and check out the Bronco. If you haven't already, like I said, I'm a little bit delayed on the release here, but it's definitely worth checking out. I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, take it easy.